2Sexy now has a big block engine and a mad sexy turbo hanging out the front of it. Last episode we finished our manifold to get gas into the turbo, now we're making a dump pipe to get gas out of it. We're using mild steel thin wall exhaust pipe that will TIG weld together and then paint black. Just like the old turbo setup on the old engine, we're using Subaru flanges. We can then connect our new dump into the existing side pipe we made a while back. The next logical step would be to bolt all this on tight. Manifold, turbo, gaskets, exhaust, dump, everything. But we can't do it yet because we've got to pull the manifold off tomorrow morning. We have to take it into town, get someone to weld up the middle of the gooch because we don't have the welders required to do it. So in the meantime, we are going to get started on our cooling system. So that's radiator in here. And hopefully if all that fits, then tomorrow we can piece it together for the last time and we'll have a running turbo big block 2Sexy. After Al relocates the top radiator mounting boss like a boss, I can recycle the original thermo fan off the Lancer radiator and attach it to our Honda half radiator. With a little bit of trimming, it fits great. We've made a lot of progress today. We've got our radiator in, which is awesome. We've got our manifold in. That'll need to come out again tomorrow morning. We're going to take it, finish up a bit of the welding on it, and then also paint it so it doesn't rust up. We've also got our exhaust joined up. Tomorrow we need to do our oil feed and return for the turbo. We've got to do our coolant in and out. And a few little minor things, plumb some stuff in, and it's ready to go. Welding the inside of the double gooch we created with our merge collector requires some clever oxyacetylene welding gear that Al doesn't have in his shed because he isn't a plumber and doesn't run a radiator shop like these legends. Once it's cooled off, we can take it back home and get it painted. While we're waiting for our manifold to dry, we're going to get our turbo fittings installed for both oil and coolant in and out. Wherever we can, we're recycling old fittings to keep the cost down, including this oil drain that we brazed on and some second-hand speed flow connectors for cooling. We're also recycling this metal brace from the 4G69 exhaust manifold. We need to support the turbo so that all the weight isn't hanging off our bananas. It also has to be able to move as the manifold grows and shrinks, so an angled bracket bolted to a plate should work perfectly.
You know what the best part about this is?
What's that?
It's off a 2JZ.
What does it do on a 2JZ?
It supports the manifold.
Right before there's danger to manifold. Oh no, wait, that was an Eclipse.
It's because they took this off. That's why there was danger.
But that wasn't the danger to manifold on a Mitsubishi?
I don't remember.
Yeah, well, I chop this. It'll support our manifold. We've made some good progress. We've got our turbo with all our fittings on it, and we've got our exhaust manifold and our dump pipe all painted up. What do we do now?
Put the turbo on.
And then?
Put this on.
And then?
Put the intercooler on.
And then?
Make pipes.
And then?
Do skids. And I then put pipes on that.
That doesn't actually make it go any faster, it just stops your turbo exploding. so close. It's almost time for intercoolers. And literally intercooler piping, air temp sensor, coolant to the turbo, fill it with coolant, start it, drive it.
Skid.
You got one thing.
What? Skids. Our turbo is mounted, which is pretty exciting. This is an intercooler off a Ford Falcon XR6 turbo. These are known as being a little bit small for those cars.
Just a bit, yeah.
Yeah, because they've got, like, especially when you turn them up, because they've got big 6-cylinder engines, barrel like what's in our Cresta. But for this car, it's probably going to be about right for a couple of reasons. One, the power level will be that probably of a stock Falcon, if around, so this is about right. And also, it fits really well in terms of dimensions, because of where our turbo comes out. We were talking about doing water, air, intercooling and some other stuff, but we're just going to keep it simple and put that on. And that will be really easy to hook up, no big piping or anything. And we're just going to hack that off and move it and then send it either under or around back into the engine. Is that the plan?
Yep.
Yep. And we can just cut this off, right?
Yep.
Aluminium?
Yep.
Weld it up, put a plate on it. Don't be scared of welding aluminium.
Our unusual turbo location actually makes it easier than usual to plumb in our air-to-air intercooler. This Falcon unit costs $50 off Gumtree and should perform well on the track. 2Sexy's days as a street car are well and truly over, so we won't see as much benefit if we were to recycle the water-to-air intercooler system off Miss Daisy. We're tapping our oil feed from the oil filter mounting point, which conveniently comes with a plug that we can unscrew and feed into the top of our turbo.
Oh, yes.
You all right, mate?
Satisfaction.
You good? Please don't say, oh yes, and look that sweaty near me ever again.
Next, it's coolant in and out using the same simple push-lock fittings we used for our fuel lines.
We should have put a K24 in it. We did put a K24 in it.
It's the same thing.
Can't say that. You upset every Honda lover everywhere. Do you reckon my
That's never going to be an issue for me.
do you reckon my Myvec K24 will fit my Honda?
What Honda?
Well, he doesn't know that yet. The last step, Alan.
Can we start up and listen to it first?
Hell yeah, of course we can. How good is it?
Good.
Turbo spinning forever. I think I heard it when the oil went in. Heard it change. Too Sexy runs. The turbo spins, it's got oil, it's got coolant going through it, nothing's leaking out of it. There's no tune in it yet, it's just idling, that's all. We will need to tune it, maybe a Wi-Fi tune, just to get it on and off trailers and stuff until we get it home and onto the dyno at Haltech. But now we're going to work out a few things with this intercooler, where it's going to go, what we're going to change, what we're going to cut off and weld. But first we've got to go get some food because I'm starving. Food time, then intercooler. And we finished it. I got to go in like 5 hours. Reckon we'll get it done?
Yep.
Awesome.
like a drag car, Martin.
Looks cool, eh? I love turbo hanging out the front. I didn't think I would at first, but then again, when Al first talked about doing this, he said turbo out the bonnet. And that's a bit different from turbo just sitting just behind the front bumper bar, which I think looks awesome. Because you could take it off and it'll just look unreal.
And Ford parts on a Mitsubishi.
And recycling lots of parts. So we've got Toyota 86 tail shaft used in various places of the exhaust and manifold. We've got a Ford XR6 turbo intercooler. We've got the turbo setup of Miss Daisy, which is off a Subaru. We've recycled some fuel lines and other stuff. Yeah, it's good. Budget so far, hasn't cost too much. 2 cooler pipes are finished. But before we put this final piece into the manifold, we're just going to start the car, give it a few revs. We've cleaned out the intercooler, we've cleaned out all the pipes, we've blown them out, we've run water through them, we've done all that kind of stuff, but it's cheap insurance. You want to make sure there's no boost rags in there or anything else that's going to get in the way. You just leave this off, give it a quick rev, check that nothing's coming out of it, and then we can slap our last piece in.
Too Sexy is alive and only a few parts away from going on its maiden big block voyage. It's such a treat to be able to work on a car with someone as experienced as Al. Nothing is too hard, nothing is a stress, and the car gets finished, which is a big deal for any project car.
Cricket. We're done, man. Is that it? Done.
Tune time.
That's awesome. Big block. Time to go and get on the dyno. Please hold. Finally earned back its plates. Finally.
2Sexy's plates are back on the car, and with a quick fix of the bonnet latch, it's now time to take my Mad Evo for a drive.
Alright. Maiden voyage in the big block 2Sexy. Still kind of unfinished, little things to tidy up, but I can do them when I get home. Here we go. Clutch feels good, box feels good, got fuel. Yes! Alright, here we go. First drive. Will we make it out the driveway? Yes, that's a good start. Suspension's so stiff, I forgot how stiff it is. There's no boost in this, so it'll be totally wastegate pressure. Feels alright. Brakes are a bit sticky because it hasn't moved in so long. Yeah, it's super lazy, not much timing in it. But it's driving! It's back! 2Sexy is back! Such a cool car. Yeah, there's no tune in this whatsoever. You can really feel it. But, tune or no tune, it's driving. That means our gearbox works, our CV shafts work. It's all there. Got some flutter. It's awesome. So good. best feeling when you've spent so much time in a car and then it works. So good. Still turns corners like a boss. Got some scratching in there, there's probably something hanging down. The next step is to drop it down at the depot. It'll go on a truck, get sent back to Sydney. Unfortunately, this is not in the state to drive 1,300 k's home. So it'll go on a truck and sent back to Sydney, then I'll pick it up and then we'll have to go and take it to the dyno. It is back. It runs. It's off the trailer. It's so sexy. What a mad car. Thanks for dropping that back, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for driving that all the way back, man. No worries. Thanks, boys.
2Sexy is back home and ready for a trip to the dyno. It's been a long journey to get to this point, from its show car beginnings to its track debut and demise of its original engine. 2Sexy is now back, big blockier than ever, and ready for its next attempt at automotive domination.